Most people hear remote workspaces or VDI and immediately assume that I'm talking about some giant enterprise stack that costs a fortune, requires a ton of hardware to run, and has absolutely nothing to do with the HomeLab. But that's not the case this time. Kasm Workspaces is one of those platforms that kind of breaks that mold, because once you start looking at what it can actually do, there's some very real use cases here for HomeLabbers and businesses alike. Let's dig in. Hey there, HomeLabbers, self-hosters, IT pros, and engineers. Rich here. How many times do you want to look at something that might just be a little bit sus, like a file or a website that gives you that not-so-safe feeling? Or you wanted to quickly spin up a Linux desktop and test something without having to spend a ton of time building a VM you're just going to throw away after. Or maybe you want a way to RDP into Windows desktops as quickly as possible from any system with a web browser. Well, Kasm Workspaces is the answer. Fully featured and completely free to run in your HomeLab and enterprise-ready for your day job as well. Let's get the formalities out of the way here first. This video is sponsored by Kasm Technologies, the company behind Kasm Workspaces, which is awesome for me because I've been using Kasm Workspaces in my HomeLab for a long time now, and I love working with companies that I actually use their software at home. With the disclosures out of the way here, let's talk about what I'm going to be covering in this video. I'm going to walk you through what Kasm Workspaces is, show you how to spin it up in your HomeLab, do a general walkthrough of its UI, the features and configs, and then we'll deploy our first workspace to show you how quick and easy it is to use. But first, let's take a quick look at Kasm Technologies, the company, and its background. Kasm Technologies was founded in 2017, and their origin story is a little different from your typical software startup. The founding team came out of US federal and DoD cybersecurity work, and the core problem they were trying to solve was how do we give people secure, isolated workspaces without the whole thing becoming an expensive, brittle mess. They figured that out for some of the most paranoid security environments on the planet. And then in 2022, they asked, why should only government agencies get access to this? So they spun up the commercial entity, made it free for individuals and the HomeLab community, and built out enterprise tiers for businesses that need the full feature set. They've never taken outside funding either, which tells you something about how they're building this. It's engineers who built something for real-world security needs and decided to make it available to everyone. Kasm Workspaces hits a really interesting sweet spot. In the HomeLab, it gives you a way to easily spin up clean, isolated browsers, apps, and desktops completely on demand, great for testing, sandboxing, or just keeping your main system clean. But here's the thing, those same capabilities don't stop being useful when you walk into the office. Secure remote access, streaming apps and desktops, browser isolation that protects endpoints, all of that delivered through nothing more than a web browser. The HomeLab use case and the enterprise use case are literally the same technology, you're just scaling the stakes. I've been using it in my HomeLab in 3 different ways. I use their disposable browsers as a way to test links and websites that I don't feel comfortable visiting on my main PC, if you get what I mean. I also spin up different Linux distributions to play around with without having to go through the effort of building a VM, installing a distro, and so on. The ability to be able to just start a distro with just a few clicks is great because I don't have to do a bunch of work just to check a thing and then throw it away. And finally, this may upset you, so be prepared to clutch your pearls. I use it to access my Windows VMs and desktops via RDP. Accessing those systems through my browser again with just a few clicks is so much easier and streamlined than starting the Windows app and going that route. Alright, so now you know what Kasm can do, let's talk about what it takes to actually run it. The good news is the bar to get started in your HomeLab is pretty low. Let's talk about the hardware requirements for running Kasm Workspaces in your HomeLab. Kasm can be installed on physical hardware or within a VM and supports modern versions of Ubuntu, Debian, and Red Hat Linux, and is available in both x86-64 and ARM64 architectures. Kasm does not support being installed in an LXC container or on Windows via WSL or WSL2. You're going to need a minimum of 2 CPU cores for Kasm Workspaces, with 4 or more cores being a reasonable sweet spot for the HomeLab. You'll need at least 4 GB of RAM for Kasm, with 8 to 16 GB being a better sweet spot. Kasm requires a minimum of 50 GB of storage, but I recommend at least 100 GB of storage, especially if you want multiple images, updates, and room for actual sessions. Again, the recommendations I'm showing you here are what I recommend, as there aren't any official recommendations from Kasm, but those are reasonable numbers to get you off to a great start. One more thing of note, you can likely install Kasm on most any Linux distribution as long as Bash, OpenSSL, Docker CE, and Docker Compose are already installed. So give it a shot if Ubuntu, Debian, or RHEL aren't your thing. Alright, so with the prereqs out of the way here, let's get Kasm Workspaces installed. I'm going to be installing into an Ubuntu Server 2404 VM that I've already created, and I'm following my own recommendations here for hardware provisioning. This VM has 8 cores, 16 GB of RAM, and 100 GB of storage. Let's get started. Alright, I've already SSH'd into my freshly built Ubuntu Server 2404 VM you see here. The Kasm Workspaces install is incredibly easy. You can find this command at the link that I'm showing you here. This command will cd into the temp directory, download the current Kasm release archive, untar it into a directory of the same name, and then execute the install script. Let's kick this off now. You'll need to make sure you run this command with a user who has sudo privileges, as after the tarred package is downloaded and extracted, you'll need to enter your password to begin the actual installation process. Before the install begins, you'll get hit with the Kasm Workspaces EULA, to which you'll answer why and press enter. As the process runs, the installer will install all necessary services and daemons needed for your OS, like Docker CE, download all necessary containers, and so on. This can take a while to complete, so let it finish. Alright, we're finished. The final output of the installer is a list of users and service account usernames and passwords that were generated when Kasm was installed. It's critical that you copy these and save them, as we'll need them for logging into our newly installed system, so do yourself a favor and copy-pasta them into a notepad or other document for safekeeping. Don't worry, the user account passwords can be changed from within the platform once we initially log in. All done with the install here, let's log into our freshly installed Kasm Workspaces and have a look around. Pop open your browser of choice and enter in https:// the IP address of your VM or hostname if you've set up DNS, and press enter. By default, Kasm Workspaces is deployed with a self-signed certificate, which you can swap out later if you wish. Welcome to the login screen for Kasm Workspaces. If you remember from just a bit ago, the username and password to log into the site was auto-generated for us at the end of the install. You'll need those credentials now, so pull them up, make mental note of the admin account name, and copy the password. Now head over to the login pane, enter the admin account of admin@kasm.local, and then paste in the generated password below. All good, let's log in. Once logged in as the admin, we land on the admin dashboard page that gives you a top-level overview of the status and health of your Kasm Workspaces with cards for users and login status, created sessions, and current statistics and image usage. Since this is a fresh login, all of this information is essentially empty. Let's dig into the configuration options now. Now let's head over and expand Workspaces on the left, and then select the Workspaces subsection. This is where all of the workspaces you've created can be managed. With this fresh install, obviously ours is empty. Over in Registry is where the good stuff is. Kasm Technologies has created essentially an app store-like experience, where they list ready-to-download and run workspaces that they continually maintain and add to all the time. They have a ton of different Linux distributions like Alma Linux, Alpine, Debian, Oracle, RHEL 9, and more. And they have dedicated apps that you can run as well, everything from your favorite browser in a box to Visual Studio Code. Everything is sandboxed, contained, and adding them to your workspace is as easy as installing them. It might seem silly, but this one feature in Kasm Workspaces is really what brings it all together for the HomeLab. The ease of which you can install what you need and start using it is hands down my favorite part of Kasm Workspaces. I'll walk through spinning one of these up here in a bit, but let's get through the rest of the management and admin sections first. The Session section is where you can manage session activity in Kasm Workspaces. The first subsection, Sessions, is where you can see active sessions currently running on your Kasm Workspaces. Again, this is a fresh install, so no active sessions are currently running, so we'll move on. The History subsection is where you can go to see a historical list of previously run sessions. Again, fresh install means no history for us. Session Staging allows you to pre-provision workspace containers ahead of time instead of creating them only when a user clicks launch. That means users can be handed a session from a ready-made pool instead of waiting for a fresh container to spin up. Session Casting lets you create a special URL that launches a Kasm session directly for a specific workspace. That link can be used for normal authenticated users, or it can be opened up for anonymous access if you want a fast, frictionless way to hand someone a ready-to-go Kasm environment. Everything we've talked about so far has to do with adding and managing workspaces. So now we're going to dive deeper into the management section of Kasm Workspaces, so let's get to it. First up here is Access Management and the Users section. As the name implies, this is where admins can create users, edit account information, assign them to groups, manage login-related details, and tie in things like file mappings and other per-user settings. This would also be a great time for you to change your admin password to something you can remember from the randomly generated one created on install. Groups is next. Groups are basically how you control who gets access to what and what their session experience looks like. Instead of configuring permissions and behavior one user at a time, you assign users to groups, then apply policies, workspace access, and feature controls at the group level. Below in Authentication is where you can integrate Kasm Workspaces into your company's SSO infrastructure. Kasm supports LDAP, SAML, OpenID, and even physical tokens, giving you the ability to tie Kasm into your identity stack and lets you control SSO, security requirements, and group-based access mappings from your existing IDP. Identity and access management out of the way, let's dig into the infrastructure section of Kasm Workspaces. The Docker Agent section in Kasm is where you manage worker nodes that actually run user sessions. This is the infrastructure layer that determines where workspaces launch, how much CPU, memory, or GPU capacity is available, and how session workloads are distributed across your environment. We have the single proxy agent that is deployed in our single host setup that you see here. Now to servers and the servers subsection. The server section in Kasm is where you define and manage actual servers your users can connect to, whether it's RDP, VNC, SSH, or Kasm VNC-based systems. For example, I have all of my Windows computers and VMs defined in my production version, so I can use Kasm to connect to them via RDP through a browser. It makes it trivial to connect through without having to deal with RDP clients or different OSs. Next is server enrollment tokens. Server enrollment tokens are basically Kasm's way of securely adding remote systems into the platform. Instead of manually trusting a server, you use a token to enroll it, which helps Kasm verify and manage the system before users can access it. The pool section in Kasm is where you group and manage the compute resources and sessions you can launch on, whether that's Docker agents, server pools, or auto-scaled infrastructure behind the scenes. Kasm can tie into VM platforms like Nutanix, Proxmox, VMware, and OpenStack, as well as numerous cloud providers, so it can automatically spin up and manage virtual machines behind the scenes to scale workloads as needed, adding another layer of automation. The Manager section in Kasm is the orchestration layer that coordinates the platform behind the scenes, handling things like session placement, communication with agents, and overall control of how workspace resources get assigned. The Deployment Zone section in Kasm is how you define where sessions should run based on location, infrastructure, or other operational requirements. We have the default zone created when we did our install, as you see here. The Connections Proxy section in Kasm is where you manage the proxy layer that brokers traffic between users and remote sources like RDP, VNC, or SSH targets. Egress Providers is how you control how a workspace accesses the internet. Instead of every session just using whatever default gateway the host has, you can send traffic through a different gateway or exit point. For example, let's say you wanted a specific workspace to use a VPN connection to access the internet. You can set up that connection, assign that to your workspace, and any internet browsing you do in that workspace will only use that connection. That's pretty cool. Obviously, this has a ton of useful implications for both the home lab and for work. If you want to test something from a different location in the world, you can set up your favorite internet VPN as an egress provider and launch a browser workspace configured to use it, making it super easy. Back to it. Now onto settings, starting with global settings. Let's run through these quickly. Global settings is where you configure the platform-wide defaults that affect the whole environment rather than just one user or one group. The Banner section lets you place notices inside user sessions so people can immediately see things like user identity, workspace context, or security and classification warnings while they're working. Web Filters in Kasm allows you to control what websites users can and cannot reach from browser-based workspaces, using things like allow lists, block lists, category filtering, and safe search controls. The Branding section is where you customize the look and feel of the platform so it matches your company's branding. It's a paid feature that requires a license to enable, and it's really focused towards businesses who want to brand the platform with their company's look and feel. Storage Providers allows you to configure backend storage that users and admins can map into workspace sessions like Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Nextcloud, S3, or custom volume-backed storage. The API Keys section is where administrators generate credentials for scripts, integrations, and external systems to talk to the Kasm API without using a user login. The Logging section is exactly what you'd think it'd be. All of your Kasm Workspace logs and events that have occurred on the platform, all filterable and searchable. Lastly, we have System Info. The System Info section in Kasm is the admin view of the platform's health and identity, showing details about the deployment, installed version, licensing, and other status information. That was a lot to go through, and if there's anything for you to take away from all of the in-depth configurability in Kasm, it's the fact of just how complete, well-designed, and business-ready this platform is. And the fact that they let you run this completely free in your home lab is seriously cool. Okay, overview out of the way here, let's run through a quick deploy of a workspace just so you can see how fast and easy it is to do. Let's get to it. Alright, we're going to deploy a new instance from Kasm's registry to show you how quick it is to spin up a pre-built instance. From the admin dashboard page here, we'll expand workspaces on the left, and then click on Registry. The list of available workspaces is large, and there's a lot to choose from here. Let's add a Chrome browser workspace to our system and test it out. To add the Chrome browser workspace, all we need to do is select it in the list and click Install. Now in the background, Kasm is downloading the workspace and preparing it for use. Let's swing over to the Workspaces tab and check it out. Alright, we see our freshly added Chrome browser workspace shown now, but notice the little red alert triangle in the top right corner. If we hover over it, we get the message that it's still downloading. We'll give it a bit more time to download, and then we'll refresh the page. Alright, the alert icon is gone. We can now launch our browser by clicking on it. Before it launches, we're asked how we want to open the session, in the current tab, in a new tab, or in a new browser window. We'll leave it set to the current tab and click Launch Session. Spawning new sessions is incredibly quick, and once the session starts, we have our fresh Chrome browser in a Sandboxed container ready for us to test out some risky links or sites, or just browse to your favorite YouTuber's channel and check out his latest videos. One more thing to note here, and that's the Control Panel widget. This little guy is visible in every session window you create, and you can find it on the left. Inside here, you can do things like pass through a webcam, enable or disable sound, your microphone, go full screen, copy-paste text info, redirect printers, download and upload files, manage multiple displays, stream quality, share your session, manage advanced settings, leave a workspace, log out of Kasm, and finally delete a session completely if you want to destroy it. I want to take a quick moment and talk about Kasm and Autoscaling. For your home lab, a single Kasm deployment is likely all you'll need to run a few concurrent sessions. But the instant you need to scale beyond that, Kasm has a great feature to save the day, and that's its auto-scaling functionality. Kasm can fully integrate with a ton of different on-premise and cloud virtualization platforms, and recently Kasm Technologies even kicked off a partnership with Nutanix to help businesses running Nutanix get all of the modern, isolated, ephemeral, zero-trust workspaces that Kasm brings, fully automated and orchestrated in their own virtualization stack. I'm not going to go through how to set up the auto-scaling integration with Nutanix because that's a video unto itself, but here's a quick example of what that looks like. Integrations like this live in the Pools section under Infrastructure. As you can see here, I have my configuration for Nutanix, and this Kasm instance can start up to 4 separate servers as needed to handle any demand and load. Over in Docker Agents, we can see that it's already spun up 3 worker nodes. And if we head up to Sessions, we can see that I currently have 1 workspace running on one of those worker nodes at the moment. If we swing over to Nutanix Prism Central, these are the 3 worker VMs we saw in Kasm, all 3 named Kasm Dynamic Agent with a unique identifier, and below them, the Kasm Ubuntu template VM that is used to clone new worker VMs as needed. All of this happens automatically based on demand. Alright, so we've installed Kasm Workspaces, walked through the management UI, deployed our first workspace from the registry, and touched on auto-scaling with Nutanix. Let's get to my final thoughts here because I have a lot to say. First off, this may be a sponsored video, but I'm going to tell you, regardless of that, Kasm Workspaces is fantastic. Let's start with the company. Kasm Technologies gives Kasm Workspaces away for free, almost entirely unrestricted to HomeLabbers. I've had conversations with them, and they not only care about their product, but they're HomeLab geeks to the core as well. And that shows. This is how you build a business. You share it with the geeks and the nerds, engineers, and IT pros to use at home, and then they go straight into their work and say, hey, I know how to solve our VDI problem, or here's how we can let people test suspicious links without touching company assets. And that's meaningful. I mentioned it earlier, but I've been using Kasm for a long time. I use it to RDP into my Windows systems, I spin up disposable browsers to safely check links in sites I don't fully trust, and I regularly spin up links distributions on demand without having to build and tear down VMs. It's one of those indispensable tools that everyone should have running in their stack, and if you aren't using it, you should be. One additional thing to add here, Kasm has one of the best knowledge bases online I've seen for any software stack. If you get stuck on something or you want to figure out how you can configure Kasm to use your VPN as an egress provider, it's all there and incredibly easy to understand. If you want to see how you can set up auto-scaling for your hypervisor of choice, this is where you go. And then there's the business side of this. Kasm is a mature platform that can solve real problems in a meaningful way. Its ability to integrate with your company's IAM for single sign-on, its support for auto-scaling worker nodes across practically every virtualization platform, on-prem or in the cloud, including Kubernetes, its browser isolation capabilities for protecting endpoints, and its ability to deliver all of this through nothing more than the web browser you already use makes it a genuinely compelling platform for businesses of any size. So the next time someone tells you that remote workspaces and VDI are just expensive enterprise headaches, send them this video, because Kasm Workspaces is proof it doesn't have to be that way. Thank you to Kasm Technologies for sponsoring this video. Check out Kasm Workspaces at https://kasm.com and seriously, get it spun up in your home lab. You'll be happy you did. And also, thank you to the fine people you see here who support us through Patreon and the YouTube membership program. If you'd like to support what we do here, consider checking those out. Join our community Discord and chat with me and like-minded home labbers, geeks, and nerds, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.